So just to give you an idea of what happened here during the last 20 years, these are Israeli exports. It's not a fluent graph, these are represented here. You have 1990 and 1995 and the rest are 2000s. But what you can see from this graph, the point of this graph is that it's not really the high-tech that replaced the low-tech. It's actually that the high-tech was added to the low-tech. You can actually see that low technologies and medium technologies grew mildly in the last decade, but it's the high-tech that grew almost exponentially in the last 20 years. So just to give you an idea of what happened here during the last 20 years. And that's how we get to the modern Israel you might see around you, the so-called startup nation. And what you see here that there are actually two periods. One period is where we grew around 9% a year, up until the beginning of the 70s. And the second period is where we grew about 4% a year, which is more close to the world average growth rate. But any economist might say, well, this is GDP, but you need to look at GDP per capita, and especially in a country that absorbed so many immigrants. And that's true. So when you look at GDP per capita, you get an even more extreme version of the same graph. Meaning, although we absorbed a lot of immigrants during our history so far, we still had that same growth.